Dairy is around us pretty much all the time. Milk, that's dairy. Cinnamon dolce coffee creamer, that's dairy. Cheese, that's dairy. Yogurt, dairy? Just kidding, guys. This is not yogurt. This is just something that my mom put into the yogurt container. So not dairy for this one. But the rest of those were all dairy. If we realize it or we don't, dairy is a big part of our lives. So you're probably wondering, so what? Why does it matter if dairy is a big part of our lives? Well, there's a lot of problems with dairy. From the health side of things to the environment side of things. The biggest problem is that it's bad for the environment. Cows produce methane during rumination, which is a process that allows them to eat grass. Storing their manure also emits methane and nitrous oxide. So the fewer cows we have and the more productive they are, the lower the environmental impact. Not only that, but cows go through torture to produce milk for us. By no means am I telling you to stop dairy completely. The best thing to do right now is to limit dairy or to try other alternatives, such as plant-based alternatives or animal-free dairy, which is what this video is primarily about. So first of all, let's touch up a little bit on plant-based alternatives. Plant-based substitutes are pretty much water-soluble extracts of legumes, cereals, or pseudo-cereals that resemble bovine milk in appearance. They're considered cow milk replacers due to their chemical composition. However, these also have their set of cons. First of all, the biggest con is the taste. Much of these plant-based substitutes taste nothing like your normal cow's milk. Moreover, plant-based dairy does not have the same texture and is usually very runny, which causes many to stray from plant-based substitutes. Lastly, while cow's milk contains lactose, which is a naturally occurring sugar, plant-based alternatives contain added sugar, which is harmful to our health. Another alternative we can try is acellular milk, also known as animal-free dairy. Acellular milk is essentially made without animals, using the cellular agriculture technology. Cellular agriculture focuses on the production of agricultural products without the need for animals. So this animal-free dairy is made using microbes such as yeast, bacteria, or fungi. Cow's milk is made up of two main proteins, whey and casein. Casein makes up the majority of the protein and accounts for 70 to 80% of the total protein, while whey usually accounts for around 20%. The casein protein exists in four main subtypes: AS1 casein, AS2 casein, B casein, and K casein, with B casein being the main component. To now create animal-free milk, we need to find a way to recreate these milk proteins. Well, how do we do it? This is where the process gets a little tricky, so you might want to tie your hair up for this one. So technically you can use any microbe, but for my project I decided to work with yeast. The yeast plasmid is altered by inserting it into the gene carrying blueprints for casein. Since all cells read the same genetic code, the yeast can now carry recombinant DNA, which makes this new casein identical to the casein that cows make. Recombinant DNA, or rDNA, are pretty much DNA molecules assembled out of fragments from multiple sources, creating sequences that would not usually be found in the genome. To put this into perspective, it's a lot like a recipe. The different molecules are the different ingredients that when you put together create a cake, or the recombinant DNA. This rDNA is then introduced into yeast cells, and the process is called genetic transformation. As the yeast cells replicate and grow, they produce whey and casein. Once they have this whey and casein, they can mix it with other substances. Almost done, but not quite there yet. To ensure that the whey and the casein are even being produced, we have to use a process called fermentation. This works a lot like beer fermentation, which you should not know about if you're under the age of 19. This genetically modified yeast plasmid cell are put into these bioreactors to divide and duplicate. For things like dairy production, bioreactors are also used to ensure that the yeast converts the sugars and the nutrients into the necessary proteins, whey and casein. These fermentation tanks pretty much act like the cow, which enables the cells to produce these proteins. So it's pretty much the end. You now have whey and casein that different companies can use to create animal-free dairy products. To learn more about the step-by-step process, you can go check out my link to my article. So if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering what this means for your ice cream. You can now switch out your Ben & Jerry's ice cream for Perfect Day's animal-free dairy ice cream. Great flavors and great for the environment. Disclaimer, this is not a sponsored message. So, unlike cell-based meat, animal-free dairy products are already out in the market. There are many organizations, such as Perfect Day, that are selling these products. However, they're still not as widely known as your normal dairy products, and this will definitely take a few more years. There are also a lot of new companies working on dairy products, such as mayo or mozzarella. New Culture is aiming to launch animal-free mozzarella by 2023, which is so exciting. Many consumer products regarding animal-free whey protein are already out in the market, but casein, on the other hand, is harder to produce at a scale via microbial fermentation. However, many companies, including New Culture, have already made astonishing breakthroughs to produce animal-free casein protein products. So hopefully the next time you go to the grocery store 1 year from now, you'll see these animal-free dairy products beside all your current favorite dairy products. Ice cream, mayo, cheese, and maybe even your favorite coffee creamer. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more by subscribing to my YouTube account below and liking this video.